Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Wow, wow, wee, wah. I've got a feeling it might just be a special stream. One for the books. And don't you worry. I'm on my way. Woo! Yeah! Yeah, man, what's up, everybody? And welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show. Should be a really good one for you today. A lot of crazy news has come out this week. There was Bob Iger taking questions yesterday, triggering the absolute fuck out of me. We have to get into that. Jeff Sneider went off last night on the Hot Mic podcast, dropped a bunch of stuff, Star Wars stuff, Marvel stuff, crazy stuff. The Marvels, Brie Larson, Teyonah Parris. Wow, wow, wee, wow. We've got a lot to get into, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break it down. I want to just even watch some of the video, see what Jeff's actually saying, get your guys' take on it, and just kind of figure out what it means for fans. So that's what we're going to do. I'm excited. Should be a real good time. And I'm pulling into the tower. I'll see you in a second. Okay, let's get it. Let's get it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to your Friday. I just want to say that I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you had a good week. I myself, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I had a fantastic week. Fantastic week. And in fact, I'm feeling so damn good. Do you guys ever have one of those days where you just wake up, you're so rested, you know, you check in on some things here and there, and things are just going well? Everything's coming up Millhouse. Oh, yes, we need to initiate the gambling. Chat! Initiate the gambling. Thank you, good sir. Okay. I had one of those in like 1997. That was probably a good year for you then, huh? Man! Just like feeling so good, man. Had an incredible workout yesterday. Just overall this week, I worked really hard this week. I got a lot of stuff done, and I'm feeling a lot of the fruits of the labor, a lot of results. Star Wars had an incredible week of content, not necessarily in the headlines, but Star Wars had a great week of content. I'm excited. A lot of fun Marvel news, too. We have a big video that dropped yesterday talking about all these rumors and leaks that came out on the Marvel Studios spoiler subreddit. I've got another video coming out for you guys tomorrow all about the Nomad project with Chris Evans. There's new rumors, but there's actually a breadcrumb trail of all of these old rumors and old reports about that project. And of course, I had to speculate about it, talk about how absolutely dope this project could be, and just the Battle World projects in general. I'm very excited for. I think that's a really cool idea, and I hope that Marvel goes that way. So just a lot of good stuff going on. Now look, there's obviously some bad stuff. Okay, we've got to talk about the Marvels. And I don't know if you guys are feeling this, but like there was a time earlier this year where I said something to the effect of, look, guys, Marvel's fixing all these problems. The only issue is it might be 2024 when we start seeing these problems being fixed. Like there's a lot of stuff going wrong. There's stuff that has been going wrong. And even though they delayed the Marvels and they're going to try to salvage the Marvels, it's possibility we're looking at another stinker. And I want to explain why and like all of that. We'll get into all of that. But like for me, it just feels like we're in this transitional period for Marvel, and it literally might not be until 2024 that we start like getting back to the old Marvel feeling, okay? Which sucks. But it is what it is, and we'll get into all of that and more. But it's just kind of like the resounding message, the resounding theme that I want to have with the content. Because, look, I'm not here to just shit on Marvel. I'm a Marvel fan. We're the den of nerds. I like nerdy shit. That's why we made the channel. That's why we made the whole goddamn brand! Okay? This isn't haterade, culture war, grift fucking channel guy. It's the den of nerds. So we're not here to get all negative. However, we also have to face the reality of the situation. Shit is not going right. So we have to address it, okay? Now, a couple of things show notes wise that I want to say. First of all, I'm having a blast on these streams. I've been having a really good time, and I think many of you are having a good time too. If you are having a good time, do me a favor. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. I know, in this modern world where you get frustrated if Uber isn't on your phone and you've got to get into the fucking car and go get the goddamn Starbucks. I understand. It's inconvenient. But if you like the channel, just do me a favor. Get on your thing with your account and subscribe to the channel. It really does help. Appreciate you guys. By the way, we just broke 200K on the main channel, which is awesome. We were like actually about to break it, and then I got into this big beef with James Gunn on Twitter, and a lot of people got mad at me and unsubscribed. So we were like close, and then like we took a hit, but now we're back, baby. So let's get it. 200K special incoming? Nah, probably not. Other thing for show notes, there's going to be a stream at 2 p.m. today for the Prime members. Those are the members that support it at $10 a month. And I got to say, I think this is going to be a really special Prime stream. If you can, try to make it live. If you can't make it live and you're a Prime member, watch on the replay. A lot of value going to be provided in that stream at 2 p.m. today. I'm excited for that one. I'm like fired up for this stream. I'm fired up for that stream, frankly. And then tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., if you are a member, we're going to be going live, and we're going to be watching Saturday morning cartoons. We're going to watch some Clone Wars. We're going to watch some Rebels. I want to do a lot of Mandalore-related cartoons and just get back into Mandalore, just try to remember everything we can about the past with Bo-Katan, all of that sort of stuff. I think it's going to be relevant for where Mandalorian goes next. So if you want to get really sweaty on a Saturday morning, let's get it. Let's get some cereal, get some coffee, get some blinkers. Should be a good-ass time tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., so look out for that, okay? Okay. Now, let's do a vibe check, man. How are you guys doing, man? Was it a good week for you guys? Or did you, too, enjoy the Star Wars content this week? You feeling good? Doing all right? Drinking plenty of water? Chilling? Great week. Happy to hear that, Kendall. Good week. Nice. Pretty shitty here. Lots of work drama. Oof, that's rough. That does happen, though, man. Hopefully next week will be better. Decent week. Star Wars is nice. Doing well. Nice. Pushing through a lot. Totally get it. Samuel Acosta, welcome to the Nerdvengers. You are a Nerdvenger now. The Star Wars and Star Trek content was top tier. That's great to hear. Not really a Star Trek guy, but that's cool. I'm Nespresso'd the fuck up and ready to party. Hell yeah, man. Let's get it. Mythosaur! Guys, a myth became real this week. We saw the Mythosaur. We saw the freaking Mythosaur, man. Yeah, pretty excited. Stressful. Grogu is developing. That's actually a fair point. Grogu is developing. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Oh, thanks, Andrew. That's very nice. Yes, it's a great month to be a Star Wars fan. Love Mando. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. It's just the SAR now? Is that what they're calling it? Oh, yeah, because no myth. I get it. Okay. I understood that immediately. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad that a lot of you guys are doing well. I understand not everybody's doing well. But happy to be here in the stream, man. Happy to be chilling with you guys. Okay, so let's kind of get into some of the stuff that's been going on. Pretty crazy day yesterday. One of the first things that happened was Bob Iger was at some campus, and he was taking questions, and I believe it was in front of a business-minded crowd. Okay, so let me Let me get this pulled up and we'll talk about it because I got super triggered yesterday. I got super triggered by a couple of things that Bob Iger said. I was like, what? What the what? Allow me to find it. Yeah, so here's some of it right here. I'm not liking this. I gotta find what he said exactly because it like triggered me so bad, man. Okay, here we go. Hollywood Reporter. I think they'll probably have his full comments in the Marvel comments really as well, right? Let's just double check. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, here we go. So let's just pull this up. Let's just look at the actual article here in the Hollywood Reporter. And so let's frame this a little bit, okay? Let's set this up. So here's the deal. Disney, and it's not just Disney, but a lot of companies in the entertainment sector, even in the tech sector, facing incredible difficulty right now. 3 years ago, we were all on top of the world. Everybody had a bunch of money. Consuming was at an all-time high, which is a whole nother thing. But it just seemed like everybody was spending $1 bajillion, expand. There's all this untapped potential in this market, this, that, second, and the third. Streaming's the future, etc. Now, 3 years later, we're in a recession, probably past peak consumption, and a lot of companies are getting crushed in their stock prices. And just in general, the market is on an incredible downturn. We are in a recession, despite what you might be told. We're in a recession and things are rough and bad. Bob Iger, I'll remind you, was brought back as the CEO on a fucking Sunday after the guy he put in charge before he left was fumbling the bag, and they voted him out on a Sunday. Okay? We've been talking about this for some time. Disney's facing a lot of challenges, some unique challenges, some challenges that are pretty much everybody's facing right now in this constrained market. So anything he says, anytime he gets out and does some kind of public speaking, he addresses these sort of questions, he is trying to move that stock price, that little green and or red line that goes up and down based on what people on Wall Street think of what he is saying. Okay? So we'll get into this, and we'll talk about the good and the bad and some of the frustrating things. So it says here, Bob Iger, Disney will reduce costs on films, TV shows to focus on quality, not volume. It comes in the form of reducing the expense per content, whether it's a TV series or a film, where costs have just skyrocketed, the Disney chief told the investor conference. Disney CEO, I gotta drop the music just a little bit. Disney CEO Bob Iger said Thursday that his company is closely examining all aspects of its content business across film, TV, and its plots, the best path forward in a tricky media environment that includes linear TV business in decline, a theatrical film business with an uncertain future, and a streaming business that is growing but requires a path to profitability. Speaking at Morgan Stanley conference. Okay, so it wasn't at a college campus. It was literally at Morgan Stanley. Iger said that the company will specifically be looking at how much it's spending on content and how many projects it produces going forward. He said here, I'm really pleased that the support that I'm getting from the content creators of the company is significant and real. And it comes in the form of reducing the expense per content, whether it's a TV series or a film, where costs have just skyrocketed in a huge way, not a supportable way, in my opinion. They all agree to that, Iger said, adding that it was also about understanding how much volume we need, reducing how much we make. So it's how much we spend on what we make and how much we make. The fuck? It already feels like goobly glob. I'm going to be honest with you. It already feels like goobly glob. Here's the thing. Again, he's talking on Wall Street, dude. You know, I think he's like literally talking on Wall Street here with Morgan Stanley, but he's saying that he's getting support from the people, meaning, like, I'll translate it. I told all these motherfuckers that we need to spend less money and we need to actually make money, and things are different now. And they all agree that not getting fired is in their best interest. That's what that means. It's so weird to me, though, that the cost per content has skyrocketed. How is that actually the case? Like, what? I mean, I suppose there's inflation. And I suppose there's an extra cost now to build sets, to, you know, do all of these different things. But why has cost skyrocketed? I don't think cost has skyrocketed. I think they just had this ridiculous vision of unlimited growth, of unlimited untapped market, and they just thought they could spend forever, and based upon evaluations connected to potential growth, they'd always have the cash. You know what I mean? I think that's really what it is. But again, he's saying the right things. This isn't even the really triggering part to me. However, Iger left open the potential for making content that the company could sell elsewhere. As we look to reduce the content that we're creating for our platforms, there probably are opportunities to license to third parties, Iger said. For a while, that was verbatim or something we couldn't possibly do because we were so favoring our own streaming platforms. But if we get to a point where we need less content for those platforms and we still have the capability of producing that content, why not use it to grow revenue? And that's what we would likely do. That's kind of interesting to me. This feels a lot like the David Zaslav approach, right? And so when Zaslav was coming in and he was doing a lot of discussions about what they're going to do, this was something he said as well, where he was like, yo, why are we saving everything from this streaming platform? We could do, you know, hotels. We could do airplanes. We could be putting it out on other even streaming platforms or available for digital release. The idea of not just making content for the streaming service, but like figuring out other pay periods for these things. It's really interesting. I mean, look, when it comes to Disney Plus, and I think maybe he'll even speak to this a little bit later, but like even access to the Disney Vault is probably just like the appropriate value proposition for Disney Plus. And what does Disney Plus currently cost right now? Because I think when it first started, it was like $7 or $8 a month, right? What's Disney Plus currently cost, guys? Anybody here? Anybody in the chat know? I only ask that because I think they raised their prices a little bit, have they not? With no ads, it's $10.99. Really? Jake, there's a lot of interesting stuff today, bro. Okay? I'm going to throw that word around. That's crazy, dude. $7 for ad-supported, $11 for free? Yo, chilling in the basement. Appreciate that, man. Welcome back to the Prime level. That's crazy. I don't think you need to do that. I think they should have just kept it at $7 and then maybe did what he's talking about doing right now. You know what I mean? Like leveraging out the new content to other services. It's kind of wild. He added that the core franchise's content, Marvel, Star Wars, Frozen, etc., Frozen, okay, would remain exclusive to Disney-owned platforms. Disney is very strong, the most powerful brand, certainly in family entertainment, Iger said. Adding that what consumers see the live-action Little Mermaid in May, it'll remind you of just how strong the brand is. Hedging the bets on the Little Mermaid. Wow. So what happens if the Little Mermaid doesn't perform? Is this going to remind us how strong the brand is? Yo, how's that Little Mermaid trailer doing, by the way? And I'm not here to shit on the Little Mermaid. I frankly don't give a fuck. I have not watched a single live-action Disney Plus thing. Like they're making, you know, none of them. I haven't watched this. I think I tried to watch Mulan. I think that's the only one that I watched. Yeah, I don't don't know about that, Bob. I feel like you guys have been kind of denigrating your brand, even the family-friendly aspect of it, for years. That's my take. But I guess we'll be reminded of how strong the brand is when we all go see The Little Mermaid. But he also had frank and interesting comments about Marvel and Star Wars, suggesting that the company is carefully thinking about its approach to those brands moving forward. This is where I get fucking triggered. What we have to look at Marvel is not necessarily the volume of Marvel storytelling, but how many times we go back to the well on certain characters, Iger said. Sequels typically work well for us, but do you need a third or fourth, for instance? Or is it time to turn to other characters? There's nothing in any way inherently off in terms of the Marvel brand. I think we just have to look at what characters and stories we are mining. Holy shit. Let's keep going before I lose my mind here. And if you look at the trajectory of Marvel over the next 5 years, you'll see a lot of newness, he added. Now we're going to turn back to the Avengers franchise, but with a whole set of different Avengers as an example. Wow! First of all, I almost just immediately got triggered and like immediately want him to just shut his mouth. Because you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of being at a corporate franchise restaurant and there's something going on. There's a downturn, you know, for the restaurant, and some douchebag from corporate comes to the restaurant and wants to act like he has the perfect solution for this exact store in this exact location in this exact market. Dude, you're not from here. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's that kind of energy that I'm picking up from this. And I hate this kind of shit, dude. When you get in a tough spot as a business, right? When you start to get that things are not going well, you're going to have this like corporate shit happen where you've got the suits essentially trying to speak to Wall Street without any of the context or perspective of like what it's actually like on the ground. Powers at the top, perspectives at the bottom. The two need to meet. It's ridiculous. So just out the gate, like what we have to look at with Marvel, I don't know, you know, maybe it's just the fucking coffee, maybe, I don't know. But for me, immediately, what we have to look at with Marvel, shut your fucking mouth, Bob. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know what you say about Marvel? Kevin Feige's the greatest producer of all time. I'm absolutely certain that they'll figure it out. And yeah, we've had some projects that haven't landed, blah, 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 blah. Shut your mouth, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. But besides that, let's go on to what he actually says. Sequels typically work well for us, but do you need a third or a fourth, for instance? Or is it time to turn to other characters? There's nothing in any way inherently off in terms of Marvel. We have to look at what characters and stories we're mining. The idea that Quantumania is bad because it's the third Ant-Man. The idea that the fourth Thor is bad because you went to the Thor well too many times. Oh, god damn, that's frustrating. What are you talking about? You know why those movies suck? Because they suck. They're goobly glob bullshit, half-released, half-finished products. It's so fucking stupid. Taika fucked off for 9 months during the pandy, having threesomes in public, and the whole movie's goobly glob. They had to save the movie in post, and they didn't really save the movie in post. Okay, now Quantumania, I don't know what they were doing on the Quantumania set, but holy shit, it's literally one of the worst edited, most horrible movies I've ever seen. My God, it has nothing to do with Ant-Man. And in fact, it's, you know, oh, Jesus Christ. Woo! Shut your fucking mouth, Bob. You have no idea what you're talking about. You tried to, oh, bro, And if you look at the trajectory of Marvel over the next 5 years, you'll see a lot of newness. No, you fucking won't. No, you won't. You're going to see Hugh Jackman Wolverine, Patrick Stewart. You're going to see Sir Ian McKellen. And then when you get to Secret Wars, you're going to see you're going to see all these motherfuckers from 20 to 30 years ago, the entire catalog of popular Marvel characters. Nostalgia is the drug. That is why the multiverse fucking exists. So what are you talking about? We're going to see newness. And literally the fucking gall of this guy to be like, we're going back to the Avengers franchise, but it's going to be an all new, different Avenger team as example. Yo, how many of you, legitimate question here, how many of you are actually super excited for an all new cast of Avengers? How many of you think that the next Avengers movie is going to be real dope because it's all new? It's a whole new set. That is literally like the opposite problem that they're having. The problem is a lot of these new Avengers just don't have it. They're not draws. They're not 75-year-old fucking characters that have generational attachments to them. Which, by the way, T'Challa's one of those characters. It's like, it's so fucking mind-blowing to me what they've done, because T'Challa is one of those characters from the fucking 60s. He's earned that. He is that. Not Shuri as Black Panther, who is great, but not T'Challa. Sam Wilson is not Steve Rogers. What are you talking about? It's so crazy to me, dude. It's so fucking crazy to me. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. It feels corporate enough and out of touch enough for me to be like, well, I see one or two things happening here. One or two things. And yeah, I'll calm down a little bit. You know, it's okay. We'll calm down. Chet's giving me a look over there. Either Feige knows 100% that this motherfucker is wrong and he's going to tell him that he's wrong, or if Iger actually tries to like institute some of this thinking, I see really bad things happening. I see really bad things happening. Hopefully, this is just some goobly glob bullshit that he's saying in front of investors, and you know, it doesn't even matter because what the fuck do they know about Marvel either? And they're gonna be like, that sounds right, that sounds correct, that sounds like more money. Gold star for Bob Iger, stock price up 3%. You know, like hopefully it's just some stupid ass shit like that. But oh man, if that's like a mandate, if that's like, I can't stop thinking of like, you know, we have something going on at the local restaurant, and the fucking corpo guy comes in and he's like, you know what I think? I think the restaurant's not clean enough. I don't think you're pushing the specials enough. That's what's happening. It's like, bitch, you're not from here. You don't know what you're talking about. That's what this feels like to me. And holy shit, I hope that's not where we go. Anyway, let's just keep going. You guys are a little wild today. You know, I'm sitting up here. I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying not to get too emotional about this sort of stuff. You guys are going crazy. So I need you to take the energy down just a couple of notches. Now, let me take this incredibly big sip of fucking iced coffee and let's go. By the way, Elisa does have the kill switch. If it gets too wild, Elisa has the kill switch. And she could like come in and be like, "Oh no. This feels like backlash." Anyway, okay, let's keep going here. Star Wars. I'm already triggered. We made 3 what we called saga films, which is obviously the successors to George Lucas's first 6. They did very well at the box office. Tremendously well, as a matter of fact. That's fair. We've made 2 so-called standalones in Rogue One and Solo. Rogue One did quite well. Solo was a little disappointing to us. It gave us pause just to think maybe the cadence was a little too aggressive. And so, we decided to pull back a bit. We're still developing Star Wars films. We're going to make sure that when we make one, that it's the right one. So we are being very careful there. Ooh, okay. All right. There, I know. I hate this Solo. I mean, look, I think Solo's a horrible movie. But you know why it's a horrible movie? Because they fired Lord and Miller with 2 weeks left of principal photography. They brought in Ron Howard and they basically said, Ron, we don't want to spend a bunch of money, but we want to be able to release a movie in theaters and have all the Star Wars fans pay to go see it. So let's desaturate all of the locations to make every planet look like a gross, muddy mess. Let's take some of what they shot before and try to make it work and goobly glob this thing together. It's also, of course, coming on the heels of the most controversial Star Wars movie, a movie that I still don't know whether or not Lucasfilm truly understands what they did with The Last Jedi. And it's not just The Last Jedi, it's the way the company talked to fans after The Last Jedi. Unbelievable stuff. But what he's signaling to Wall Street, what he's signaling is we have a bunch of Star Wars movies that made a shit ton of money. We had one that didn't, and it gave us pause, and now we're going to make more, and we're going to be sure that we're making the right one. So he's essentially saying, like, we made a bunch of money, and then we had some that didn't make money, but the next one we have is going to make money, Wall Street. We're going to do good next time. So, cool. At a high level, Iger said the goal is to focus on high-quality programming, calling out not only the core franchises, but also FX, which he praised as both producer of content and as a brand. You know, there's so much consumer choice right now, and it comes back to what is differentiated, Iger said. That's one thing, obviously, we have talked about, is those brands. Star Wars, Marvel, Disney, Pixar, for instance. But quality is also a differentiator. I think HBO proved that well. You know, in their halcyon days, when high-quality programming made a big difference. And not volume, he added. And because the streaming platforms require so much volume, one has to question whether that's the right direction to go, or if you can be more curated, more, I used the word judicious a few times, but I guess more picky about what you're making, and to concentrate on quality, not volume. So this whole thing here, man, this whole discussion, again, it's just to move the stock price. He's talking to Hollywood, he's talking to investors, he's not talking to fans. But it just feels like, I don't know, man, like, a lot of what he's saying is not personally signaling to me that good times are coming. And I fear, and I think the biggest concern that I have, and I've talked to you guys about this before, it feels like the very problem, or rather at least one of the big problems that got them into the spot that they're at, is like also their solution for getting out of it. Like, all of this breeds to me, it really feels corporate-y. It feels like they're talking about product. It doesn't, like, I don't feel anything in here that's like, well, we think story's paramount and we've got incredible storytellers, and as long as we have the right stories and we put the right time into it, we are absolutely sure that we'll continue to do what Disney's always done, and, you know, boom, 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 boom. It feels like, to me, this is a little bit of, like, language about fixing it, but it also feels like the corporate stick and the corporate control is going to be ever more apparent, which is really scary. That's a scary idea. Like, Star Wars, let's just talk about Star Wars for a second. So Star Wars took 3 years away to figure their shit out when it came to movies. And the idea that they lost 7 projects that were in development and then do a writer's room, they assemble a writer's room late last year, to work on the movie that they're going to try to force out in 2025. Like, how does that feel like? I mean, it just feels like, again, it's that corporate bullshit. And it feels like this isn't a well thought out, well crafted, well designed idea. This is 3 years of fucking up and then a scramble because Daddy Iger needs a movie in 2025. Well, that's what happened with the sequel trilogy. Daddy Iger needs a movie. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like that's the way out. And like him talking about Marvel, like, I'm sorry, I think still until Kevin Feige just completely fucks this whole franchise up, I think it's frankly disrespectful and ridiculous for you to assert any opinions about Marvel, for you to talk about anything as far as the creative decisions that Marvel is making. You're not that guy. You don't know what you're talking about. It's really frustrating, man. I got super triggered by this shit. I was like, oh my God, like, here we go. The district manager's in town. Oh, it's the corporate manager in town. It's like, hate it. I hate it. Is anybody confused as to how triggered or angry I was about that? Have we left anything to the imagination? Do you need any clarification? Does anybody need a clarification? Do you need me to like explain it further? Have I not illustrated the point? Or are we good? Take a Xanax? Holy shit. Is that the... Hang on now. Is that the secret to enjoying Disney's content over the past couple of years? Am I just not zoinking out enough? Is that the problem? So when we were saying earlier, like, don't think about it too much, is that, like, literal? I thought that was just, like, a figurative kind of fun thing. So they're literally like... Well, I'll say this. If that is indeed the case, then they've got to provide that shit via the Disney Plus subscription. It's absurd for them not to actually offer the ability to enjoy their shit. All right, moving right along. Let's get into some spice. Let's get into some juice when it comes to Jeff Sneider. Y'all know Jeff Sneider? Y'all know about Jeff? Y'all know about Jeff? Y'all know about that? Okay. So, Jeff Sneider, by the way, I think Jeff has incredible sources, okay? He doesn't get everything right. Sometimes he reports something a little more loose. As we're going to talk about, the Matt Shackman thing, he clarifies as a rumor, so we'll treat it as such. But there was like a several-week stint when Jeff Sneider was scooping stuff that then would just get picked up by the trades, and they'd literally like fucking ignore Jeff and just be like, oh yeah, exclusive, deadline. We know about the Wonder Man show. You know, exclusive about this, that, second, and the third. You remember, yes? Put a 1 into the chat if you remember. I also want to remind you, for people that are skeptical of this news, that the last time we heard Jeff Sneider talking this much shit about a project, you know what project it was? She-Hulk. A lot of people trying to go easy on She-Hulk. A lot of people weren't saying shit about She-Hulk behind the scenes. Jeff Sneider said if there's one Marvel project that he doesn't see actually working out, it's She-Hulk. So, TLDR, and then I want to actually watch what he said. Like, we'll pull the YouTube video up and we'll actually watch it together. But the TLDR, the framing of this, is that the Marvels is a shit show, with Brie Larson clashing with Teyonah Parris behind the scenes. That's mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing. That's not a good strategy, Brie. I'm just going to say that. And says Brie Larson was hard to work with and is angry that the movie is titled The Marvels and not Captain Marvel 2. Okay, so let's watch that exact moment here. And it's said to be at 49 minutes in. The Hot Mic Podcast.
Strap in, everybody. At least I'll delineate, because there's two things and then there's a few others. So the first thing is like, what's behind that Marvel's delay?
Yeah, what is behind the Marvel's
delay? Wasn't the Marvels pushed back?
They got pushed. Yeah.
I've heard that is just a shit show. I've heard it's kind of chaos, and really, I don't think this will really surprise anybody who is plugged into the industry. I've heard, again, don't get mad at me. I've heard Bree's a nightmare.
Oh,
you know, I don't think I'm the first person to say that. And
Okay, so he's heard that Bree's a nightmare. Now, remember a couple of months back, maybe it was several months at this point, where she's on the red carpet and the homie's like, will we see Captain Marvel in the Avengers? And she's like, I don't know. Does anybody want Matt? And the guy's like, oh, come on. And she's like, no, seriously. Does anybody want that? So Brie Larson is a nightmare. Believable.
I've heard that she's really clashed with Teyonah Parris.
Wow.
And that, like, it has like led to some strife, and that is sort of behind the delays.
Wow.
That is one thing.
Wait. Don't just skip past that.
Yeah, please don't.
So a lot of people were thinking that delays were done.
Now we're entering the realm of gossip.
Okay, but a lot of people felt
from a good place.
A lot of people felt that this was delayed because of that interview and Feige wanting to take some time and spreading stuff out, and Iger coming in and saying, hey, let's not put everything on top of itself. Let's take a little bit of time in between these things. Now you're saying that the delay is because there are issues between Brie Larson and Teyonah Parris. Is Iman Vellani in between mom and dad fighting? Like, what, mom and mom fighting? What are you hearing about this back and forth? Is the delay because is it a reshoots issue?
I also wonder too, sorry to pause in the middle of this, but I wonder if Jeff understood how big this was going to blow up, because like the Direct has covered this. My tweet about this is already triggering a lot of people and like blowing up. Like, this is going to be massive news. So I do wonder, like, if Jeff, like, is in this very moment, like, is the narrator being like, it was at this moment Jeff knew he had fucked up. Like, seriously, because they're live, you know.
Is it a still shooting the principal photography issue? What's the issue?
I've heard, first of all, she was upset that the movie's called The Marvels.
Oh, because it's not her.
It's not Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel too. Everybody else got Thor, you know, everything like that. This is the Marvels.
I can understand that.
So listen, I'm just saying that she's not alone necessarily on this. This next person I want to talk about is not on the same level.
Okay.
But she's an Oscar winner.
Right. Brie Larson is an Oscar winner. Yes.
Brie Larson's an Oscar winner. And, you know, they have a certain expectation of the way they're going to be treated, the way their idea. Yeah. Right. And this is the other thing. This is the other thing with both of these people, because I'm going to bring up the other person too.
Yeah.
She was cast as Captain Marvel before everything, right? Before there was a director, before there were writers.
Right.
Yes.
She's Captain Marvel.
True.
Yes.
She thinks of this as
very much a Blade situation. Mahershala Ali.
This is her movie, right? Rather than this is a Marvel movie that she's the star in.
Right.
This is how it's been described to me. Who else was in that situation? Right? Because they're like Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine, or Chris Pratt. These guys aren't really divas.
No.
They kind of know their place.
Right.
Brie Larson.
Where's he going with this shit?
Someone else. Do you know who else had a Marvel movie built around them before anything came into place?
No, please tell me.
That would be two-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali.
Oh yeah, for Blade. Yes.
Whose Blade got a new director in November.
Yeah.
Here we are 5 months later, still no update on casting.
Wow.
See where I'm going with this stuff?
Are you saying
Oscar winner, Mahershala Ali, two-time Oscar winner? These people, want things done a certain way.
Right.
And they have they carry the weight to get their way.
Yeah.
And that sometimes causes delays.
So you're saying they're throwing their weight around a little bit because they want things in a certain way. They expect to have things in a certain way.
And maybe this is for the best, right? Like maybe at the end of the day, like fucking Brie Larson being difficult or Mahershala Ali wanting script changes all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the day, this benefits it.
Yeah.
Because, and I think this is clear in the final product. I don't know who could argue this with me. Yeah. This dude, Kevin Feige, is worn thin.
Dude, real fucking talk. Maybe one of the realest things Jeff's ever said. Yeah, he's worn thin. Absolutely. That's a big part of it. That's a big part of the control.
He's putting out fires on Blade, putting out fires all over the place.
Yeah, and the fandom is turning on the Phase 4.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's another big aspect. And I'm sure this is like a very difficult situation for him to be in because it is super clear that the fandom is turning. Maybe in the middle of Phase 4, it wasn't so much that way. Like, there were a lot of fans that were like, no, like, it's fine. This is going to be dope. You know, this is going to be dope. That's going to be dope. I think after the totality of Phase 4, and really it's Quantumania. I know some of you guys like Quantumania, but to me, it really feels like that was a kick in the balls after getting kicked in the shin. And it's like, you just can't, like, when you have people like me, and you've got people like, even like Matt Ramos, like starting to kind of be like, no, like, you know, and turning and saying like this, that, second, and the third, like, you know that things have started to turn. And in this environment, and I don't think Marvel has ever experienced this before, in this environment of social media, of zeitgeist, of YouTube, of live streams, damn, bro, that turn happens quick. And it can get impassioned. You know what I mean? And so I'm absolutely certain that that's difficult for him personally, that it's difficult to put all these things out and to also watch the fandom turn. But that is the gig. That is the job. And if you want to be the greatest producer of all time, you got to figure it out. Like, that's just what it is.
And already, right off the bat, the first installment of Phase 5.
Exactly. And, you know, we can put up with that stuff when the movies are bulletproof.
Yeah.
When the shit, I'm telling you, like, so, yes, I hear there's some drama behind the scenes of both of these movies, Blade and the Marvels.
And the drama, from what you're hearing, is being spearheaded by Oscar winner
by Brie Larson. Yes.
Brie Larson. And then on the Blade
like
side,
feels like Blade is his movie. Like, you know, this is me, and then you're going to build it around me rather than this is what we're doing, and now we're going to find an actor to fit it.
Wow,
that's the way it's fucking described to me.
Yeah, I feel like, how can I say this correctly? I feel like they chose a lot of really good actors in Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6, what we're going to get. They chose a lot of really good actors, but it doesn't have the same magic.
True.
And I think we're starting to feel that with every single one of these films and TV shows. And now it might be bleeding down to these actors and these directors. And so there's conflict because everyone's like, I don't want them to come out and destroy my film and review bomb my film.
Sure. And
I don't want the Ant-Man.
That's a really interesting point. By the way, these guys are great, dude. Like, Roka's good. He's been good forever. You know, I know he said some whack shit here and there. Who hasn't? I mean, except for me, you know, everybody's made mistakes. And Snyder's the same way. I think he's got good takes, good sources. So I think that's a really interesting point. It's interesting to think about the fact that the fan base turning could possibly have a trickle-down effect to how actors handle their disagreements with the studio behind closed doors. It also could have a trickle-down effect to, like, the visual effects stuff. The visual effects studios in Marvel beefing big time right now. And there seems to be a lot of push of that narrative, and you know, Marvel's going to have to come up with some kind of a solution for that from a PR perspective, but also from a functional production perspective. It's interesting to think about how, you know, what Jeff said, basically, if it's not bulletproof, if the shit's not bulletproof, all of that stuff trickles down and all these little cracks in the foundation get sort of expanded. It's very fascinating. So as far as what they just said and what is going on with the Marvels, I think this really closely falls in line with what Grace Randolph has been reporting. You know, again, not a lot of people want to even touch the Marvels or like really like get into it. Grace has said that it's kind of a mess. They've been doing multiple amounts of reshoots. And I think the thing that's really interesting and specific to that report from Grace that connects into this report is that Grace has said that the movie is going to attempt to do that She-Hulk thing where it goes right at the trolls, maybe even incites the trolls a little bit and then makes fun of them for getting mad. And by trolls, I'm just using that like, shit, they might consider me a troll just because I don't like that kind of shit and I don't like them like getting in my face about it. I think it was stupid. I thought She-Hulk was horrible. So it's not even all trolls per se, but like from their perspective, that's what it is. And I would imagine, based on what Jeff is saying, that energy and that idea for the film is coming from Brie Larson. And so what I think's happening now, what he's saying right now could be, and this is speculation on my part, right? But it could be the case that Brie and, influences the version of the movie that's a little bit more She-Hulk like. Okay? We've recently heard from The Watcher that a lot of what's happening with this film is to change the tone, remove some of the silliness, and perhaps, if I'm reading between the lines correctly, removing some of the She-Hulk stuff from the movie. But you see, because of all of that coming from Brie Larson, and the movie's already not Captain Marvel 2, and Brie's already clearly irritated with the entire process, based on that interview from a couple of months back, Feige and co are probably saying, like, Brie, we're changing this movie. We can't have it be like She-Hulk. And Brie Larson might be freaking out about that. The idea of her clashing with Théophane in Paris is very interesting to me. I feel like that's such a losing strategy. Brie, what are you doing? Monica Rambeau is a great character, and I think people really, really like that character, especially like compared to Captain Marvel. And Brie, look, was Brie overhated? What were her comments taken out of context and monetized in a culture war grift? Absolutely. But she gave him the ammunition. She loaded the bullets into those fucking guns and handed them to those content creators because she was so fucking cringy, not just in that singular moment, but then during the entire press tour leading up to Infinity War and Endgame. She was so cringe. There's no reason for her to be like that. It was so cringy, dude. Right? So she has all of this like hate and frustration, and some of it, of course, artificially inflated culture war bullshit. A lot of it just, everyday cringe. She doesn't have it like that. Like if we were in wrestling terms, she's not over with the fans. She can't be sold as a face. She doesn't have the crowd. But Teyana does. Monica Rambeau does. So Monica is over with the crowd. She could be the face. And if they've been clashing about like her getting more of the shine or her, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think many fans would mind at all if they made Monica Captain Marvel. And there's some talk that the third act in the Marvels, which, slight spoiler, I guess, it was rumored that the third act of the plot was going to see Monica Rambeau essentially trapped in another universe. Okay? What if they change it and it's Brie Larson that's trapped in the other universe? I mean, is this another story of the timeless tale of fuck around and find out? I don't know. But either way, this is some massive news because people are really tired of lackluster Marvel product, and they've delayed the Marvels, and to hear somebody, two very reliable people in Jeff and Grace, basically saying this movie is a shit show, and a part of the problem is Brie Larson, and then you add in the element of her fighting with her co-star, who is more over with the fans. It is just like a really bad, like what? Like, I don't know. That just seems like such a bad strategy on Brie's part. Is it possible that, like he said, this will all be for good, and we'll get to a point where, the movie's better for this drama, and then maybe we get a really enjoyable Marvels? Maybe. Maybe. But I gotta say, this is not what you want to be hearing. This is not what you want to be hearing. And this news, this story is going to be everywhere today. It's going to be everywhere today. So, we got some more stuff to talk about. For sure. But I want to just kind of briefly look at chat and just kind of like say like, what? Like, what do you guys think of this? It's crazy, huh? Crazy. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, Badger. Uphill battle for the Marvels. Seems like it is, yeah. What did she do on the press tour that's cringe? Okay, so there were two that really stick out to me. Number one, and I think this one looks particularly bad too now because of Jeremy Renner and just how much love Jeremy got. Because when Jeremy Renner got injured, right, the mayor of that town basically came out and said, like, Jeremy Renner, like, gives a bunch of money to this town. He's always helping. He doesn't promote this. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't tweet about it. But he's, like, genuinely a real fucking hero. He also got out of that thing to save his nephew or something. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. But he's, like, literally the fucking man. Okay? There's an interview with her and Jeremy where she goes on this super cringe tirade about how with her platform she has this responsibility to evoke change, to get people to see things differently and all this bullshit. And then they like cut to Jeremy and Renner's literally like, I don't feel a responsibility, I don't really consider myself to have a platform, like all this little stuff, like literally gave like a regular ass person answer, and she just looked cringy as fuck. There's another interview with her, Don Cheadle, and Thor, and she's talking about doing her own stunts. Bro, she has a fucking stunt double. There are pictures of her with a stunt double. And she's doing all this cringy talk about how she does all of her own stunts. And then, like, Hemsworth says something like, oh, so you're going to be like the next Tom Cruise. And she gives this, like, cringy, I'm a mad third grade hall monitor Karen-ass bitch remark where she says, I'm not going to be the next Tom Cruise. I'm going to be the first me. Thank you very much. Holy shit. Holy shit. Horrible. Horrible. So, dude, like, she's cringe. Like, I'm not even trying to be a hater. I didn't make 200 videos with Brie Larson in the thumbnail. I didn't grift off of that shit. I actually think Captain Marvel movie is a little bit better than a lot of people think. But it's just the facts that she doesn't have the fan base. She doesn't have the support of the fan base. Like, if it was announced tomorrow that Jeremy Renner is back to full health and they're doing Hawkeye season 2, bro, you're going to get a pop from the crowd. People are going to be like, fuck yeah, even if you didn't like Hawkeye season 1. Because Jeremy is over with the fans. He's got that love. But she just doesn't, dude, which is why the movie's called The Marvels, which is why she's co-starring with 2 other women. It's bananas, the way that it all goes, you know? So, like, I just think this is like I just think it's a bad strategy, dude. Like, this is just a bad strategy on her part. And when you come out and give answers to questions, you know, like, just who are you helping, Brie? When you're snarky again on the red carpet, does anybody even want me to come back? Like, dude, even the people that like you probably didn't like that answer. Like, who is around you? Who's giving you this advice? This is like horrible, horrible shit that you're doing. It's bad. So there you have The Marvels. And we'll be following, of course, this news and this film very closely. We'll all see it. They got my money for at least one showing, and we'll be, you know, we'll see what it is. Maybe they could solve it. They could figure it out. But it kind of feels like we might have another stinker on our hands. So, there's a couple of other things that they talk about in here. Let me just get the timestamps.
3 experience where everyone's writing articles about.
Okay, so there's a couple minor things in here that he talks about. First of all, he says Ben Grimm's actor will be Jewish. That's really interesting. Also refutes that scooper that's, in my opinion, not a scooper at all, the Divinity Seeker. He's talking about how there's going to be a person of color. That's the going to be Ben Grimm. I think this kind of refutes that, although it is technically possible to be Jewish and a person of color at the same time. So we'll wait and see. But either way, I think that's kind of a minor thing. Echo will appear in Daredevil Born Again. Not really shocking. I think we all kind of know that is happening. He hints at Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange 3. Now that is kind of interesting. Because I've also heard that Scott Derrickson may be in the discussion to do Doctor Strange 3. That's wild. Like, what do you think of that? How is it that we're going to get into another Scott Derrickson, Sam Raimi fight again? It's kind of interesting, right? I like both of those guys. By the way, Doctor Strange 3, I think, going to be very important for the multiverse stuff, because I think a lot of the rumors about some aspect of the multiversal saga coming down to Doctor Strange and Kang, I think that's accurate. I think that's actually going to happen, right? So that's kind of interesting. I'm sure many of you that hated Multiverse of Madness are like, no Sam Raimi. Like, we want Derrickson. I'd be good with either one. I love both of those movies. And I think Multiverse of Madness, crazy good. But that's kind of interesting. So here he talks about a rumor that Marvel has made a multi-project deal with Matt Shackman. The deal would include him directing some episodes of Vision Quest, executive producing a Silver Surfer series. So that's at 58 minutes. Let's see if we can get to that, because that's very interesting. Oh wait, shit.
Don't have the confirmation.
Great.
See what they have to say
If
about
you
this.
look at where those things are going, progression of certain things.
2 hours of Dutch angles. Great.
Doctor Strange did very well too. The second movie.
I know.
Yeah,
So,
it did.
yeah,
It
don't-
made
Well,
almost
look,
$1 billion.
X-Men Last Stand made more money than X2 and X-Men. Doesn't mean it was a better film, for God's sake. So
Is
Ooh.
Ruka a Multiverse of Madness hater?
now he-
I
And-
love Scott Derrickson's Doctor Strange. Love it.
Yeah, I
So,
love both of them.
Damn it. All right.
Here's
go
the
ahead.
last thing before the last little Scoopy thing.
Okay.
Now this is a real rumor. I don't know if this is true or not, or what the deal is, but rumor has it that Marvel may have made some sort of deal with Matt Shackman, who is the director of Fantastic Four,
Right.
the director of WandaVision. I don't know if they have signed some sort of multi-project overall deal with him, but potentially they have.
Wow.
And potentially that would involve him also directing some episodes of Vision Quest,
Ooh, that would be great.
and potentially executive producing a Silver Surfer series.
Dude, you are dropping a lot of bombs today.
Yeah, he is. He did drop a lot of bombs. So let's talk about that. Matt Shackman, big deal. I think it's interesting. This could be very similar to the Destin Daniel Crichton deal, where they signed this like massive development deal with him. They also signed one with Coogler, although I think Coogler's is technically Disney, so he could do some stuff outside of the Marvel world as well. But that would be interesting. It's kind of a good get for them. I like Shackman, and I imagine that whatever they're going to do with the Fantastic Four, like, it seems like one of the projects that they're really going to put a lot of emphasis and focus into. Hopefully, all the projects moving forward are going to get this level of emphasis and focus. But for now, it really does seem like certain projects matter. Certain projects, we're going to change the ending a month before and see if anybody notices. So it's weird, right? But if Shackman indeed is going to do the Fantastic Four movie, well, we know he's doing the Fantastic Four movie, and then he executively produces a Silver Surfer series, that's very interesting, because we've heard Silver Surfer and Galactus, and potentially even Galactus as the main villain, will be in the Fantastic Four. So it would be kind of cool then to get that same guy, especially if he nails it, to do some Silver Surfer stuff. And I'm excited for a lot of that cosmic stuff, a lot of that fun stuff, that cool stuff that's coming from Marvel. So could be a really big deal for Shackman, dude. Kind of sucks for the Star Trek people, because it seems like he would not be going back to that anytime soon, and they might not even make that movie now. But for us as fans, kind of a dub, I would say. Kind of a freaking double U, as it were. Let's see if there's anything else they talk about with this.
That's what I'm talking about, John. We could have done the whole fucking hour on this.
This is fantastic.
Now, obviously, this dude is focused on Fantastic Four. Like, that is what
Yeah.
he's doing. But, do I think that did a Silver Surfer series pass the smell test? Yeah, it did.
Right.
Now, that seems like the sort of character who's big enough to get, like, I don't know, Echo. I don't know fucking half these shows
Exactly.
that Marvel's putting out.
Tell him, John.
Silver
Tell
Surfer
him.
is a legitimate character who I
Yes,
could see
he
carrying
is.
his own series.
Well, I mean, it was in the second Fantastic Four film that Tim Story directed. Silver Surfer was a big part. I think Lawrence Fishburne did the voice on that.
He did.
And so people know Silver Surfer. And listen, if Shackman's he's working on the Fantastic Four stuff. Silver Surfer is very connected to the Fantastic Four stuff. And there's a lot of rumors that Galactus is going to be the next big baddie as they move forward with Marvel down the road.
He's good.
Silver Surfer very tied to Galactus. So it only makes sense to leave some breadcrumbs that lead us to Galactus this early in the process of having him come into the MCU. So
we don't know all kinds of sense. Is in Fantastic Four. We know it's not Doom because I think Doom comes in at the very end of the movie. So that's what I got. I don't know how this shit all connects. I don't know if there's actually a Silver Surfer series in the works. But it sounds like they want to keep this Shackman guy around long term. Yeah. And anything, related to Fantastic Four, he's going to have his hands in, much like, John Watts has been involved in, Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, right. Well, I love this. I love everything you just said. I'm excited about this kind of stuff. So, okay, I'm down. I'm down for a Silver Surfer series. All right. Any more of the Marvel?
Cool. I think, like they were saying, dude, that's a lot of info. Like, Jeff was kind of dropping bombs for sure last night. It made a ton of news. I think particularly, of course, the news about the Marvels is going to track pretty far. And a lot of people are going to talk about that. Very interesting. But yeah, some of the other stuff is really, really cool as well. So, I wonder, because he's talking about Blade and everything like that. I think, so, like, it's tough for me to, like, if I were Kevin Feige, right? I don't think I'd have the same level of collaborative, supportive spirit with Brie as I would with Mahershala Ali. I mean, first of all, like, again, like, Brie just has not won over the fans. And even if you don't think that a lot of her stuff's, like, cringy or whatever, you're not on that side of it. Like, this is kind of a character that's never really hit with fans. Like, had a lot of series that get canceled. Not a particularly popular comic book character. So I think that, considering the fact that she already has been in several Marvel movies, doesn't seem to have won the fans over, also seems to just kind of be a little bit of a Karen. I don't know that I give the same level of, like, I think you're right, you should have ownership of this, blah, 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 as I do to a person like Mahershala Ali. So hopefully they work it out with both of them. But I would just say that from the outset and from the rumorville, the idea of Feige and company removing some of the She-Hulk elements, perhaps elements that Brie was very passionate about, really leveraging up Monica, that's a great move. Like, that's just what you do in that situation. So I think it's kind of silly that, like, Brie would be so butthurt about that or so upset about that she'd be dragging the entire production down. We'll see how it all shakes out. But it's fascinating. And then hopefully Blade, of course, Blade figures its shit out and we get a dope Blade movie with Mahershala, because I think he's great. I think the character's great. Blade also way more popular than Captain Marvel. I mean, there's a reason that they bought up that license back in the day and that they made the Blade movies over at Fox. So, yeah, it's strange times. Strange times, man. And I think that just considering where Disney and Marvel is at right now, it's, like, difficult when I hear stuff like from Iger, when I hear stuff over here about, like, the Marvels, when he's talking about the Star Wars stuff, and we're getting even more updates about the Star Wars movie that they know they really need to nail. It's just tough. Like, as a fan of a lot of the IP that Disney has, it's a difficult time right now to, like, try to sort out, my feelings on the whole situation. Like, I absolutely love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a fantastic achievement. One of the coolest things that's ever been done in the nerdy universe. But we're clearly at a weird point. Feige is putting out way too many fires. There's way too much going on. The slowdown is necessary. And it also kind of feels like we might have to eat some bullshit. We might have to eat some more bullshit this year. Before we get into hopefully much better stuff next year. What a world. What a world. Is there anything else? Anything else I missed? Anything else we should be going over, guys? Gunn, director of Superman, is that confirmed? Where'd that come from? No way. Where'd it come from? I don't see it yet. Where's the source? I don't see it. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's real.
Slash experts. I mean, it's tough because there's stuff I can talk about and stuff I can't.
Exactly.
I mean,
so I don't want to. I want.
Yeah,
I don't want
no.
you to
But it's
line.
a totally fair question. Yeah. I mean, James Gunn is a super nerd and he's super creative.
Right.
He's the writer and director of the Superman movie, and he's sort of the creative force behind all of this. Him and Peter Safran.
Yes.
And he reached out to a group of screenwriters and myself. Fantastic.
Because is that kind of the idea of like there being a committee of people who are like not purists but fans slash experts?
I mean, it's tough because there's stuff I can talk about and stuff I can't.
Exactly.
I mean,
so I don't want to. I want.
Yeah,
I don't want you
no.
to toe
But
that
it's
line.
a totally fair question. Yeah. I mean, James Gunn is a super nerd and he's super creative.
Right.
He's the writer and director of the Superman movie.
No! Do you remember when I was saying earlier, like, I'm having a great week, I'm feeling awesome, like things are great, and like, you know, we're doing all, like, we're great, it's all good. I mean, I guess we saw it coming. You know, I guess we saw it coming. I thought maybe at the last minute he was going to pull something really interesting and bring in like somebody different to be the director. So imagine, and by the way, this is like Taika.
And
this is Taika. These guys are cut from the same cloth. I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn stars in the movie next. You know, Taika gonna write and direct a Star Wars movie and star in it. And it's like there's no... It's like hubris just unchecked, basically, when it comes to Gunn. And the balls of this guy to fire this generation's Superman and then to decide, I'm going to launch my version of DC off of the back of a Superman movie that I'm going to write and direct. I mean, that's so fucking ballsy. I, of course, am beyond skeptical of his ability to do that. I can't wait for Superman to be making dick jokes and like doing X-ray bullshit, horrible ass James Gunn jokes. Please, for the love of God. Like, real talk. Who's around this guy to say no? Like, who's going to be the person? Is it going to be Peter? I haven't fucking heard a word out of you since you got the gig, Safran. Like, who's going to be the person to tell this motherfucker no? This is wild, bro. This is wild. I will say this. If he somehow pulls this off, wow. Like, wow. Be a truly incredible feat. And truly incredible feat. I'm skeptical. I am skeptical, to say the least. Holy shit. What a wild day. What a wild day. My goodness. Okay, so I'm probably going to regret asking this. But is there anything else? Is there anything else we missed? What else? What else you got, chat? What else you got, universe? What else? I just saved 15% or more on car insurance. Nice, bro. Wow. KK signed a contract extension. That would be par for the course today, man. That would be. I'm half expecting that. I'm gonna refresh Twitter. Oh Jesus. Wow, wee wah. Okay. Incredibly interesting stuff. I think we should get into Q&A. I think we should go over all the questions and answers. And then I'm going to get out of here. And I'm going to try to chill. Because then we have a stream at 2 p.m. Wow, dude. Like, That is, I mean, again, we should have seen it coming, but that is just shocking, dude. Like, I'm sorry. That's fucking shocking. And I wonder at what point, because, like, Gunn has this, like, really weird, mostly anime profile picture background motherfuckers on Twitter that, like, just munch his asshole every second of every day. Anything this dude talks about, they're like, fucking eating it up. Can't wait. Love James Gunn, you know? Like, and I know they exist because thousands of them came to fling the arrows at me after I talked about how he didn't like Henry Cavill. I wonder at what point that group of people, if they're even real, is gonna like see it for what it is. Like, I wonder at what point will those people see it for what it is, if ever. Wild, bro. I feel like that meme of Dr. Phil when he's like, look, that's me. Okay. Wow. Wow, wee wah. Let's get into some questions and answers. First in it was Vito with the 5 gifted memberships. So really appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. Overbound Game Studio says with the $10 holla, Star Wars is generational and Dave is always thinking about the next generation. Therefore, Din will give Bo his Darksaber many times because Dave will want to use their kids for future stories with Grogu. Just going to let that one marinate a little bit. You know, in all seriousness, do you guys think they're going to do that? Let's go to the polls. Let's go to the polls. Do you think Din and Bo will bump uglies? We'll make it a little more appropriate. We'll end up together. Boom shakalaka. There you go. Don't they have a huge age gap? I mean, maybe. I hope so. Bo Jarin. They might have a little thing, but it probably won't last. Interesting. Interesting. Damn! The landed gentry. Damn! Wow, 65% of you think yes. How's the MCU today? Oh, we're doing great over here, man. Jeez. That's wild. 65% of you think that's actually the way it's going to go. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't hate it. Happy Hogan is a simp, says, and that's actually kind of true, says, could the bombings during the Great Purge be cause to why the Mythosaur might have woken up / moved closer to the surface? Much love. Yeah, for sure. That could be the possibility. Yeah, maybe it was dormant for some long time and then it like came back up to the surface. Maybe it could have to do with like the radiation or something like that. So I don't know, but it's really cool. I'm glad that the Mythosaur is back. Samuel Costa, again, thanks. Welcome to the Nerd Avengers. Justified says, new badge, baby. Let's go. Hell yeah, man. Thanks for 24 months. I really appreciate the support. Claytonium says, I haven't been able to catch you live in a while, but I always watch later. Thanks for all that you do. Well, thank you for the support, man. I love getting on here and streaming. I love getting on there and streaming. And I was like fired up today. Like I was like, dude, it's going to be a good one. I didn't expect it to get as wild as it did. And so, yeah, I guess some of you are like, yeah. And some of you are like, I don't like this version of Josh. But hey, it is what it is. Crazy news. And I just had to give my reaction. Bob Iger really triggered me. Like, he really triggered me, dude. So, Caleb Senpai says, it's Friday. You know what that means? Here's your weekly reminder to watch One Piece. No Adventures for Life. Keep up the great content. Here's to more blinkers. Thank you so much. And One Piece. What is it, like 6,000 episodes or something like that? 6,000 episodes? I don't know if I could do that, man. But I appreciate you nonetheless. Matic just sends a heart. Thank you for that. Chillin' in the basement. Welcome back. Greet Pack. Welcome back. Frog Eater says, quick question, Josh. How can the Marvels be going through reshoots when Brie Larson is at home and Teyonah Parris is now at home with her newborn baby? That's actually pretty interesting. I didn't know about that, but it's possible they're either going to use stand-ins and shoot them later, or they're doing other parts of it, or maybe they're actually doing rewrites and then they're going to do the reshoots later on. Remember, I mean, Marvel will literally reshoot like a month before something comes out. So it's possible they're reworking stuff. They're going to give both of them a little bit of time off, and then they'll come back and try to finish it up. Who knows for sure? But I think that's a viable explanation. Locationary says 80% of the content out of Disney has been so bad last 4 years. It's still a sinking ship, but I really do hope they manage to turn things around. Yeah, I think Disney has some major problems, man. Like major problems. And Marvel was one of the only things I think really holding up almost the entirety of Disney. You might not agree with that, but that's really how I feel. Like Marvel had become almost as big as just Disney in general and was like really propping up a lot of the other aspects of Disney that I think were hurting really badly. I'm pretty curious to see how they get out of this situation. I think at the end of the day, like, you definitely need to make improvements and Feige needs to cook. I don't love the idea of like Iger commenting on Marvel's strategy at all. That just feels horrible, dude. You know? So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for that. Frog Eater says, I actually have faith in the 2025 Star Wars film from Damon Lindelof. Josh, cause at least they're getting done by people who have done well-received award-winning works. Sure. Sure, it is absolutely possible that the Lindelof movie is fire. And I think the truth is, man, it needs to be. It needs to be. So, regardless of like all of the talent, regardless of the fact that it is going to take place in the sequel era, and by the way, I have a big video coming out about the movies because Jeff and Bob both commented on the movies, and there's just like a long list of like updates about it from a bunch of reports over the past couple of weeks. So we'll do a in-depth look at all of that. But at the end of the day, this movie needs to be fire. It needs to be very, very good. And I think this movie is actually kind of crucial to what the Star Wars brand ends up being moving forward. Because Star Wars went from a brand of, you know, when Force Awakens was out, of like everybody was engaged in Star Wars. Everybody was loving it, getting into it for the first time. It was a very exciting time period. To now, like, they're canceling the cruise things. They don't have people signing up to go do the cruise, so they have to reevaluate that. To drama behind the scenes, Lucasfilm dropping the ball on like multiple projects, getting sued by the producer from The Acolyte. Like, it's just nothing but L's, it would seem. Star Wars has really gotten to a place where the like public relations and just the fumbling of the brand has literally affected people's ability to enjoy the content. It's very tough, dude. It's like crazy. So we'll see how all of that shakes up. But yeah, I mean, if Lindelof comes in and crushes it, if this movie's absolutely in, I want to just feel that magic again. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to feel that magic. I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about, like, when I went to Celebration in Orlando, when I had the Celebration in Chicago, and just even seeing the big displays and then the vendors and just that feeling, man, of, like, Star Wars and being like, dude, Star Wars. Oh, I'm so happy to be surrounded by Star Wars. I'm so happy to be with other Star Wars fans. I'm so happy to, like, engage in it. And it's just, like, for me, like, I have trouble... I want to get back to there. I don't know the way forward. I don't know exactly how we would get back to that, but I think it's pretty important for the brand to get back to that place with a lot of people, right? To get back to that place. Sub-Zero Visuals says, would rather have Jonathan Majors be Doctor Doom at this point instead of Kang. Dude is killing it, but the MCU currently might fail their opportunity. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, I think they might have some specific things planned for Kang, which might actually make a lot of sense and shake out. I'll remind you, too, that the original plan for Marvel Studios was to do Secret Wars in 2024. Do you guys realize that? So I think that they were going to kind of, and especially like if you look at the big video we did yesterday, and again, we're going to talk about like the Nomad Project and some of these other things. It really seems like the plan for Marvel was like, let's get to Secret Wars, and then let's have more or less a whole phase of fun on Battleworld and in the Battleworld universe. And that might end cap with Eternity War, which I really believe is the third part of the Secret Wars trilogy. So if you really look at like what they were doing, they were going to kind of get to that shit really quick. Now it kind of feels like they're slowing down and they're going to do a lot more Kang stuff leading to Kang Dynasty and Battleworld. And I'm just not sure like that's going to necessarily translate in the best way. Did I hear about the Nomad Project? Yes, I just recorded a big video about it. It'll probably come out tomorrow. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. Hopefully it's real. Sub-Zero... Oh, wait, we already said that one. Thanks, man. Jimmy B, thanks for upgrading. Jomran, thanks for coming on back. And Jose says, did you watch the latest South Park episode? No, I did not. What's the latest South Park episode about? What's the latest South Park episode about? Why should I be so excited about this South Park? What's up, chat? It's about balls? It's about ChatGTP? Okay, I have to check it out. That's funny. Okay. I'm actually excited to check that out now. Who is your favorite Kang variant? I like Immortus a lot. Immortus is super cool. Iron Lad's pretty cool. Okay. Josiah says, crazy Iger doesn't want third or fourth movies, but wants fifth Toy Story. The nerve of this MFer. Yeah, dude, I think he's just like... And to be fair to Bob Iger, he is in a pretty ridiculous, precarious spot. I mean, if Disney Plus is the thing that fucking kills Disney, that is his legacy. He did like so many good things. He had this incredible career, and he honestly tried to slip out before any of the bad shit happened, and they kind of dragged him back. You know what I mean? So I do have some empathy for Bob Iger. I just can't stand that corporate speak. I can't stand that out of touch authority coming in and trying to like do stuff. It's like, ugh, hate it. Kendall says, I'd fight Brie over Teyana. Monica as Captain Marvel. Yeah, for sure, man. I feel the same way. It just seems like such a losing strategy. It feels like really not being able to read the room, and then not understanding that like you being like a snarky bitch about it isn't helping anything. Like it just seems like that's I don't know who she has around her, but it seems really wild. Vito says, I'm with Kendall. Fuck Brie and give us Monica. I mean, we'll see where it all goes, man. But Monica's dope, man. She's like one of the coolest things that came out of WandaVision. Incredible power set, really cool visuals. She's an incredible actress. She has, respectfully, one of the best booties ever. Monica Rambeauty. So yeah, she's like I said, she's over with the crowd. The homie GPA, member for 9 months, says, Nerd Vengers, assemble! Oh, we assembled today. And I lost my mind a little bit. David Diebold says, tell Bree you burnt. I don't know what that means. Frog Eater follows up and says, I know you have doubts for the 2025 Star Wars movie from one of 3 Miss Marvel directors, but Josh, it's an Oscar winner, Miss Marvel's highest MCU story on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, no, brother, I get you, man. I understand where you're coming from. There are some things to be excited for, but I don't think it's crazy given the track record of Lucasfilm, given the fact that by all accounts, they are scrambling again. I don't think it's the crazy opinion to be skeptical of the 2025 Star Wars movie, right? The trick for Disney, the trick for Lucasfilm, is to make it absolutely incredible and to put out some promotion, some ideas. Like, you've got to sell the movie. And I think at this point, you have to sell the movie to a fan base that is mostly going to be like this. And I think the mistake that they could make is to say, hey, all of those fans that are sitting there like this, we don't really want them. They're just haters. They're just trolls. They're ists. They're phobes. Get out of my face. I'm talking to you specifically over here. You person that's really excited. That would be a mistake. Mas says, no self-respecting Star Trek fan is expecting that series. We're legitimately just happy that Picard Season 3 is so far so good, and this is Discovery's last season. Star Wars isn't the only sci-fi. Well, first of all, Mas, not to go hard on you, but Star Wars isn't sci-fi. Spoken like a true Trekkie. It's not sci-fi. It's science fantasy. It's fantasy. But yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense about Star Trek. I've heard that the new season is actually pretty good of Picard. Again, I'm just not a Star Trek guy. Starkiller says, I feel like the only reason I'm excited for Echo is because I'm half deaf. So I love seeing deaf culture getting some shine. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's another series that seems really weird. Apparently they're doing some cool shit, though, with like her getting like magical tattoos. And she'll be able to like go Super Saiyan via magical tattoos. So who knows? Maybe that'll end up being really, really cool. But I hear you on that. No pun intended. James Heaton says, DCU just confirmed James Gunn directing Superman Legacy. Yeah, I saw that. We had our reaction, and man, so many different people would have given me a little bit more confidence in the project, you know? It's crazy. Like, okay, but maybe I'm just ridiculous, okay? Are any of you actually excited that James Gunn is also directing the Superman movie? Put a 1 into the chat if you're actually hyped up about that news, because, you know, maybe we need to get outside of our own biases. Maybe we need to kind of try to understand where other people's are at, get a real temperature in the room, and try to figure out if people are excited about it. Chet, I need you to look at everybody that put a 1 in the chat. Get these motherfuckers out of here. Ban these motherfuckers immediately. Ban. Get them out. Get them out of here. Get these motherfuckers out of here. Cool. So there's a few people that are excited about it. Click Clack says, hello, I am Click Clack. I am Genosian sex symbol, in my opinion. I am before Babu Frick. Do you remember me from Star Wars Rebels? Nah, bro. And I mean, you chose a weird time to try to establish yourself as a sex symbol when we've got the CEO of Sexy getting hugged by Grogu. No, squeeze. Bad baby. Bad Click Clack. Haunted Autumn says, look at the bright side. We might have some good nerdy content again by the time you're 60? You know, it's funny you say that, though, because I actually think we are going to get some dope nerdy content this year. I think the next season of The Boys is going to be lit. I think the season of Invincible is going to be incredible. I think Guardians of the Galaxy would be cool. Secret Invasion has a chance to be incredible. Loki season 2, hopefully, will be incredible. We've got Ahsoka, which I think is going to be like a religious experience. So I think we actually are going to have a lot of fun, nerdy stuff. It's just the fact that, like, you kind of can't deny that, like, Marvel's on shaky ground and there's just some bad shit happening. And same with Star Wars. Like, it just is what it is. Like, we can't just, like, act like it's not happening. It's happening. So, yeah, we'll get some good stuff. Ode to Dawn says, Gunn news 100% triggers meh more because he lied again. Not off to a great start with my trust in the DCU. Hype for cartoon stream tomorrow. No Avengers for life. Yeah. Yeah, he does a lot of double speak for sure. Chase Floyd says, monthly Warhammer question. How's the game going? And what's next? What's the next units you've been eyeing? Just ordered some Terminators to add to my Raven Guard army. First of all, thank you for the question. I appreciate the love. It's going really well. I actually have a Custody right here. I'll show you guys. I put on, I've been putting a new base. If you can see the base, it's like supposed to be like almost like obsidian rock. So I'm transferring all of my bases over to this. I'm hoping to get another game in this weekend. But yeah, I'm very excited, man. And my buddy is slowly building up his Tau army. 10th edition right around the corner, so I'm really excited to like learn the new edition and get excited for that. So yeah, Warhammer's been great. I'm not really eyeing anything up right now. I'm still building and painting. Like I have a lot of Custody stuff still to build and paint. I want to build a lot more of these sword and board guys, a lot more of the wardens, and some more Venilus Praetors as well. So appreciate you. And I'm glad that you're getting some Terminators for the Raven Guard. Raven Guard seems so cool. Marvel's Menace says, breaking. Gunn takes Gaffer's job on Superman set. I know, right? Sheesh. The Landed Gentry says, do you think Bo-Katan has a firm grip on sabers? How do I reach out to her? Boop. Go to horny jail, my friend. Lerold says, favorite OJ brand. I don't even know, man. I guess Minute Maid? I don't know. Straw Hat Dragon says, it's been a minute. Hello, No Adventures. Sup, Josh? Mando or die. Yeah, Mando's great. Mando's great. Next we've got a 53-minute episode. Ooh, girl. Ooh, girl. 53 minutes. Let's get it. I'm very excited for that. That should be really fun. And also, thank you so much for the love, man. It's good to see you. Chad Fisher says, love the channel. Thank you. I really don't understand why Lucasfilms aren't not just giving Dave and John the keys to all and say, go. Yeah, I agree. And that seems like such an obvious W. And maybe it'll be announced at Celebration that they are actually taking over and they're going to do their thing. It seems like they're really focused on filling out the story in that 30-year gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. And frankly, if that's really what they're focused on and that's going to be where all of their attention is, it's not the worst thing in the world that two of these incredible, like those guys are basically the ones that are going to fill that in completely and really fill out that whole time. And I'm down with that. I think that's great. But I also do hope and wish that they would be really just putting the touch on everything. And maybe they will. Jamro says, how is Brian Chapek still a producer on Thunderbolt? Seems like a giant conflict of interest. Not necessarily, man. Not necessarily. And I think that kind of stuff just happens in Hollywood a lot. I don't know, man. Who knows? Look, Chapek, for all of the shame that he sort of got, he also got a big, fat, multi-million-dollar check and basically was like, hey, you want all this, like, fuck ton of money? Sign here. You're not allowed to say shit. See you later. So, you know, I don't know. How mad really is Bob Chapek? I mean, I'm sure he's mad, but, like, how mad? You know? RJ Phillip with a 10 spot. Very generous. Thank you so much. Says, Josh came out hot. Happy Friday, everybody. Iger's hopefully just fluffing up his stock prices, but if you want to piss off Feige, this is a good way to do it. Going to Friday Night Magic tonight to draft Nerd Vengeance for Life. Dude, good luck on your draft. I haven't been to a Friday Night Magic draft in a long time, but those are really fun. And yeah, no, that's kind of the point too. Like I was saying, like that, if I was Feige, I would be so frustrated with those comments. I'd be like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And, you know, hopefully there's not like a big division there. I've heard some people, like Grace has this idea, like I've seen her say it in some of her streams and videos, that like Iger needs to like turn the heat up on Feige or like make them realize that like Feige could get fired. I just think that's so ridiculous. I think Feige is like, yeah, I just like, we could just leave it there, but I think that is ridiculous. So, the Landed Gentry says, Leaky King, some nerd coin, beloved sire. I'll drop some coin on y'all. Let's drop some coinage. I'm just going to do a number I never do, and I'm going to do 7,000. Alex. Oh, shit. Alex says, fun stream. Cheers to the 6-month badge. Happy weekend. Hey, I really appreciate it. Elijah, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now, and I like your profile picture as well. John says, I'd like to think Gunn will do right by Soups. The best directors have movies with tones that best fit story and world. He won't go full Guardians or the Suicide Squad. So, serious question. Not trying to be snarky. Not trying to be snarky. Can anybody point me to a James Gunn project that he didn't do all the James Gunn shit? Like, you know, you're talking about no Guardians and no the Suicide Squad. I hear you, and I'm not trying to be a douche, but can anyone point me at a James Gunn project that isn't all James Gunn-y? So some people are saying Brightburn. I haven't seen Brightburn. I would argue maybe you could say Dawn of the Dead, the Dawn of the Dead script, right? Lollipop Chainsaw? I don't even know what that is. Interesting. So Brightburn, I've not seen Brightburn. You guys know I don't really like scary movies. But didn't James Gunn not direct Brightburn? I don't think he wrote Brightburn. Yeah, it's his brothers. Scooby-Doo. Yeah, he's just a producer on Brightburn. Slither wasn't super gunny. Okay. Again, I've not seen it. I'm not really into horror, so. So, while I understand your point, John, like, you understand my pushback, right? Like, I would need to, like I just gotta see it, man. I gotta see it. You know? Yeah. Josh, who's your Superman casting? Henry Cavill. Austin Johnson says, my wife and I have predicted Toy Story 5. The toys will end up back together with Andy's kid. Honestly, I'd rather see Incredibles. Totally fair, man. I feel the same about The Incredibles, too. I would much rather see The Incredibles. But, yeah, that's probably par for the course. It seems like that's... Yeah. I hear you. Okay, MK Matt says, just popping in. I think the MCU made a mistake by not immediately following up Loki with crazy Kang multiverse stuff. That's what I thought would happen. I think that's a fair point, man. Their tactics and strategy with the multiverse is just, it's odd. It just seems odd. You know? So, you know, we'll see. Click Clack says, LOL, I just thought it was funny because I made up that Click Clack was a sex symbol a year ago and didn't like the same thing happen with what you did with Babu and my friends. Yeah, I guess that's true. That's kind of a funny thing, but you know, I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't. Like, Babu's just got it like that. Yeah, I know. But thanks, Click Clack. Appreciate you. Elijah with a $10 holla. Very generous. Says, Favreau literally name drops legends, books, and past video games for inspiration in his public interview. Meanwhile, Kathleen Kennedy publicity says there's no lore to draw from. Just want that said out loud. Yeah, for sure. I mean, she's been kind of doing that same old stuff for a long, long time. Just really, really out of touch with the community. Which, by the way, like, you don't necessarily need to be. But then you shouldn't be the person that's the front-facing communicator to the fans. Like, if you're not that person, then don't be that person. You know, if you're more the business minded, the more of the, the producer and all that sort of stuff, do that. You know, I just think that she's stepped in it a lot, and there's multiple reasons as to why Kathy is not good for the brand. And I think at this point, things have just, they've sort of snowballed into a place where even the most ardent defenders, or rather the most positive folks, have to admit that, like, she should probably go. Which, by the way, is also why I think you're seeing so many more articles about the movies falling apart, Kathy getting sued. I think that there's some people in, maybe even in Disney, but definitely in Hollywood, that think they need to push the narrative now of how poorly of a job she has done to cushion the blow of giving her an early exit. That's definitely speculation. That's big time speculation. But that's just kind of the way I see it. Is like, I always find it very interesting that good with casting. There was a kid, man, I forget even what show he was on, but I was like, that could be really, really interesting. So it's possible. Oh no, are we having issues? Are we glitching? James Gunn's coming for me? Not again. Liam fixed it. Nice. Nice. Yeah, so I couldn't really tell you. I apologize because I know you spent $5 to get my opinion on that. I'm just really not good with the casting. Let's flip it onto the chat and see. What do you guys think? Who could be Superman? Who could be a good Superman for James Gunn? What do you guys think? Brian, thanks for that, man. I'll see you at 2. Brie Larson, incredible pick. Sean Gunn, also great. Babu, wonderful. Nick Cage, I'd be down. His wife, also incredible. Yo, y'all are wildin'. Tom Cruise, Dave Bautista, The Rock. Can you imagine The Rock? And he's like, the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change again for real this time. It's wild, bro. Billy from Stranger Things. That'd be interesting. Jack Black? Yeah, let's get it. Yeah, wow. Ezra, huh? Yeah, I mean, we'll see, guys. We'll see. Harrison Ford? Yeah, why not, dude? Theory? Yeah, why not? Damn, dude. Wow. What a time. What a time to be alive, huh? Yo, so many people are triggered by my tweet about this. So many people got so mad about little old me tweeting. Yeah, dude, right? No shot. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to get on out of here pretty soon. I've got to go get some food, and I want to, like, chill out. I want to, like, try to, you know, realign my chi, find my circle. You know? Dude, this tweet is not even toxic. This tweet is not even toxic. I'll read you what the tweet is right here. And the quote tweets are hilarious. So I said literally, bruh, according to reports, The Marvels is a, quote, shit show. And Brie and Teyonah Parris are clashing? That would be wild on Brie's part because fans actually like Monica. You think that's toxic? Is that toxic? Like, I think that's kind of tame. TBH. TBH. I think that's pretty tame. You know? You know, it kind of sucks. Like, at the end of the day, like, there's always going to be narrative, and there's always going to be, like, people that have an opinion about me or feel that I act a certain way or whatnot, right? Now, when it comes to the streams, I obviously try to be really entertaining. And part of that is being a little over the top and like, you know, playing into it a little bit more, okay? But at the same time, I also try to bring nuance, clarity, other perspectives. I try to be as fair as possible while also being really entertaining. And I think that many of you and many of the people that actually watch the streams and actually engage in the content, I think like many of you guys, you get it, you understand it. Even if you get triggered by some of my reactions or some of the things that I say, you're like, yeah, but like I get it, okay? And it's just kind of become, particularly over the last like 6 months, I will say, it's been so interesting to watch like me become that sort of controversial person on Twitter, because I think that I personally think I'm way less controversial than a lot of other people. I don't think I like do, you know, a grift or like a narrative thing. So it's pretty interesting. you know, to watch it all go down. At some level, though, you just got to realize, it is what it is, man. You know, like, it is what it is. Like, you just got to let the people feel the way they want to feel about it. So, it is what it is. Yeah, it's a good Thomas Sowell quote. You're toxic positive. Yeah, I guess so. You strayed from what people perceived your opinions to be. Maybe. Thoughts on the new What If original character, possibly from Marvel's 1602. Yeah, man. Like, dude, I just gotta be honest with you. Like, that's not a... Like, even just the look of the character. So there's a couple of different things going on with that. Just, like, the look of the character doesn't do anything for me. Okay? And, you know, if anybody were to say, like, oh, well, dude, like, it's supposed to be, you know, Native or First Nations, and you're supposed to evoke that feeling. Well, I would argue we already have characters that do that are also dope as hell. Like, Manifold, I think it's Manifold. The guy from Hickman's Avengers that's like sort of aboriginal. That's the teleporter. Like, I think of that dude. I think of like Brother Voodoo and certain other characters that just visually are pretty cool. So the character just kind of does nothing for me. You know, maybe in the What If show, the character will be awesome and I'll be like, damn, like that's really, really cool, man. So yeah, it's whatever to me. It doesn't really do much for me. Yeah, Warpath, good example, yeah. Shaman from Alpha Flight, yeah. We'll see, though. It could be cool. I'm not hating. I'm just like, you know, the realness is like, nah, it doesn't really do much for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Manifold's super cool. And I love like how they did like the costume looked so cool. And then there was like the way they incorporated the look of his powers and some of like the symbols and stuff like that. I was like, that's really cool, bruh. You're a drama queen, Josh. Yeah, I guess I am. Yeah, but I guess I am. Man, we got a little wild on stream today, huh? Got a little bit wild today, huh? Random question. Why do you have two channels, one for streaming, one for videos? Wouldn't it make sense more to have one for everything? It depends on what you want to do. For some people, yes, and I think it's actually gotten much better. But also, like, I like sort of not having all my eggs in one basket. And this channel got banned a couple of years back because of the Suicide Squad. And so we had a week with none, so I was able to stream over on the other channel. I actually think it's probably smart to kind of have a couple different channels. You look at some of the biggest YouTube channels on the planet, like Mr. Beast, he has different channels, you know? So when the best, maybe the GOAT of YouTube is doing it, you should probably at least try to understand why that person's doing it. And if it makes sense for you, follow that. So. Yeah. All right, everybody. Much love. Really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Hope you got entertained. Hope you got informed. Hope you didn't get too badly triggered. Much love to you all. Appreciate you. Today, 2 p.m., Prime stream. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., we're watching cartoons. And then we'll, of course, be back at it on Monday with what should be another great stream. Should be a very fun week of Star Wars content. Maybe we'll have a bunch of awesome stories, a bunch of fun stuff to talk about, or maybe we'll all just get triggered again all week. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Leave. You know, man, what a wild one, huh? What a wild one. Got a little bit hot about that Bob Iger stuff, you know. And it is what it is. Tis what it is. And it tisn't what it tisn't. Think about it. Only thing I'll say is I really appreciate you guys. It's so nice to be able to do what I do, and it's so I've loved entertaining people. I always have. I've always been like a class clown and just, you know, kind of a goofball. And so to sort of, I guess, stumble into job where I get to be goofy and silly and fun and just go crazy and entertain some of you guys is a blessing. It's a real blessing, man. I really appreciate it, and hope you know it's mostly entertainment. It's not really meant to be taken personal or anything like that. I do passionately and seriously care about these properties, and I am upset with where we're at. But the sun will shine on us again, my brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. Make sure you open up that third eye. Almost said third hole. And wash out your butt.